Welcome back to Three Swords Productions. If you're new to the channel, I'm Steven and this is Nathan, and tonight we have Law versus Charlotte LinLin. We're gonna see where the meta's at, post restriction. Just see if obviously not much changed from the Law side, nothing changed from LinLin's side, but yeah, just a fun matchup to watch.
Let's go.
Ready to get started? Let's go. All right, and I am on the LinLin side, and we're going to see Law get started here. Play starter Nami. Okay. Yeah, Alex's Law list is a bit different. I do like the starter Nami, though. That card feels like a really good amount of efficiency.
Yeah.
And that's something that Law can always admire.
Law is also currently cheating 5 life.
Currently cheating indeed.
We'll
wow.
We'll get that resolved.
I think that will get resolved here in a minute. So... or not. If that doesn't get resolved, then we might see a Law victory. All right, so we'll just see how it goes. Okay.
It's an unfortunate hand from the side of the Law here. Nothing to really find extra cards. So
yes.
you can dump out cards, but there's nothing else you can really do with those right now.
I do believe
it's not getting any value for you.
Yeah, I also believe that he did take a mulligan, so
okay, that would make some sense.
But consolation prize for having a bad hand is that you can have an extra life. So. Okay,
there we go.
It is being fixed now. There we go. All right, so we've got an attacker-ties game. Let's go. Charlotte LinLin playing Strucin out early.
Yeah, Strucin is definitely something that you love doing against these Law matchups with the deck, right?
Yeah, I mean, look at their hand, right? It's always like so critical that they have their characters. I mean, like looking at Law's hand now, the Strucin took out the 4th character. He's not going to be able to play the 5th for 5 done. And if he does draw like a 1-drop that searches something else, it is going to impact his ability to use his Law ability. So, I think the Strucin's actually quite effective. Let me see Rush Katakuri come down.
Debating on which life to look at, it looks like.
Yeah, we have to read it to make sure that we are allowed to do what we want to do. We're just going to look at the top life instead. And can we put this card on the bottom? That is a yes.
Yeah, all right. Going back to Alex's side, he's going to need to find something to be able to build up to his Law limit. And that will not do it. Between the Makino and Zoro, that'll leave you with 1 Dawn left, and that doesn't work to be able to put something else in. So we're going to have to figure something else out to do with this turn. It could be something... It's definitely an awkward hand. You could play Luffy and just attack with it, or decide to keep it back to not attack with it. That's also probably fine. I think you could also do like a 7k attack and play Zoro. That's also probably fine.
Yeah, I think that's what he's going to do. He's going to want to establish something here, whether it attacks or not. Definitely just need to play a character to the board. And we're going to come across for 9.
9 is a lot.
That's an attack. All right. I'm going to play maybe Makino onto the table again. I think I would have rather this be a 7k attack.
Yeah.
And play out like Zoro or something.
Yeah, just play a better body. You're not really going to be able to remove it this turn. No. You're not an 8-drop Katakuri turn, so nothing like that.
Right. Not playing, there's Thunderbolt.
Yeah.
Thunderbolt is a removal, but that's it.
Right.
But these Makinos are fairly safe too, so.
They are. Strucin be the only thing, but again, that's 2 cards for you, so that does feel like a bit of a
this line is
negative
fine.
at this point.
This line is fine just because, I am yellow, so there's no real removal there. And the Zoro, like if the Zoro had come down, it wouldn't turn sideways anyways.
Yeah.
And the 5-drops are going to get to be put into play for free anyways later, so.
I think the only thing is that I feel like you were taking that life regardless pretty easily, because that gets you down to your limit for LinLin. So I don't know that he needed to go so big is the only thing. But we did find Blocker Law, and we found Dagara. Dagara's past its usefulness at this point, but could be a 1-drop that you need to trade into if need be.
Blocker Law being able to swap something, like if we pick up Nami, we're actually back in business from the Law side, so we'll see.
Yeah.
Where the game's not too far gone. We are at 1, it's a little dangerous, but we do have a blocker.
Sparrow's pretty good.
LinLin's really not been able to put up enough, too much board pressure quite yet. So we're going to see how it goes here. Definitely a rough start from the Law side.
Yeah, this is kind of the downside of not finding anything that adds extra cards here. None of the Namis, none of the Jewelry Bonnies, none of the Didans.
Right. Well, I actually don't think that he's playing Searcher Nami. I think he decided to play Starter Nami instead.
That was a decision that was made in set 2 for sure to play around like Newgate being quite good. So I can see a reason to do that if you think Newgate's a lot in your meta.
Certainly feeling the punish for that choice right now.
Yeah. Okay.
Otama on the 6K here.
I like this.
Gonna make the leader a bit stronger at attacking it. We also have the Zoro.
Tapping these Makinos is a bit of a liability. The Strucin, the Pudding, the other Pudding, they can all just attack them back. So you really want to make sure you're committing that attack for the end of the game and not doing it for small attacks here.
Right. I think we're looking to swap like probably Otama back to our hand instead of the Makinos.
I would agree.
But we can tap Makino, target Makino, swing up a little bit, and then pick both of those back up with our Lawless ability.
It's a fine play. They're all 2Ks, so it just depends on whether you want to have the Otama back in hand for future use, or whether you are trying to protect all of the tapped creatures that you might make with Makinos.
All right. So again, this is a situation where he basically Law needs to take calculated risks here, but they can't overextend too hard because if they lose, some semblance of their board in misstepping here, they're going to be punished so hard they will not be able to recover. But right now, the game doesn't feel entirely lost.
No, not at all.
It becomes a 3K.
It's felt difficult from the get-go with none of the searchers, but it's definitely not lost for sure.
Makino becomes a 3K. We're going to consider using Law ability here soon.
Yeah, I think portioning the correct amount of Dawn.
2 Dawn going on Makino, make it a...
That makes it a 5K. Is that not swinging on the...
Most likely on the Katakuri.
Okay, so interesting for a 5K on a 4K then.
And it's going to cost us another card.
It looks like it was to lead, I'm sorry. Because
Okay.
you pitched a 1K.
Right,
there.
yep.
And then maybe replacing? Or are we just going to... Debating on the attack. Where are we going? Do we want to go with the Katakuri? Do we want to go with the face? How much is it? It looks like 6 at the Katakuri is the number decided.
Okay.
Not exactly sure where that
6
was pointed, but...
6 of the Katakuri, I believe.
Yeah, that would make the most sense, I think, to me in this attack. And I think you're just debating whether it's savable or not. Okay, it was to lead. Lead again. And then swapping out here with the blocker log, like you said, puts in that one, picks up the other Makino, and put in Zoro. And you could establish a 6K attack here, or you could... no, I'm probably just going to establish a 6K attack. Onto the Katakuri. And I think this is... Okay, yeah, so that one was on the Katakuri, and just a little bit of confusion between players there. But now a debate on whether you want to use 2 cards to get out of it. I think it's actually pretty reasonable to get out of this one, but I could also see letting it go since you have such a wide board. Problem is they're so small. They're not big attackers.
Okay. Katakuri falls. All right, and that's going to be an untap from us on this side here. Going to go up to 8 Dawn.
This could be 8-drop Katakuri turn. I don't know exactly what's in your hand there.
Law hand is a little bit more established now. The board looking a little bit more stable than it had been in past turns.
Yes.
Got the sideways Zoro though. It's kind of a liability as it is one of our only threats. We do still have Star Law in hand as well for the following turn.
Looks like no 8-drop from the hand of LinLin. Instead, it'll probably be a leader ability, stack a Thunderbolt, and figure out how to attack the rest of the board once this one resolves.
We do have 8-drop in hand.
Is there an 8-drop in hand? Am I blind there?
No, I believe there is an 8-drop.
It is an 8-drop. It's literally in the front.
It's this card that looks like it's about to come down.
Okay. Hey, instead, let's do this.
No, maybe not. Playing the Opera also to continue contesting. We are at 3 life now, so swing 7 on Zoro is also like an appealing move. Swing 8 so that we get over the Law by 2K.
Sure. At the bottom.
This lets us manipulate our life. We are holding Thunderbolt, so that's quite the removal as well. Katakuri might be able to just wait for the next turn here. That's going to be 8K on Zoro, which will catch a block.
Sure. I think that's pretty easy.
We've got another 8K being considered somewhere else.
You go 8K with the pair of Sparrow.
Could.
It's a little awkward. I almost would rather see like a...
It's going to be a 6K on Zoro, I believe.
Sure.
block, and then it's going to be Dogura out of that.
Sure. Now you can play the Opera, or you could make another attack with the Pudding. I'm not sure I love that. I think I'd rather just establish a body.
Yeah, I'm not sure I love this turn. I think the kind of Curry play would have been a lot stronger. We've basically ended this turn having gotten rid of a Capone, which is an important piece to get rid of, but he still got his blocker law. He's still left with his Zoro.
Yeah.
And we could have established the Katakuri instead, removing the law from the table, and then our Parasparrow and LinLin could both have attacked for 5 each on the Zoro, which would have discarded 2 cards instead of 1. So
yeah, I think I like that. But you did also stack a Thunderbolt, which is going to be removal here on this turn, so that's also fair.
That's going to be like pretty massive removal if he goes face, which he's going to have to, basically. So it's going to be a 7k swing on lead.
Smart attacking with the blocker law first. That would be the thing you'd want to Thunderbolt out of all these options. But now you can do it on the Zoro.
And Zoro's gone. But that does get rid of the, he still has a starter law in hand to untap the blocker law, so it's not quite a wash, just swinging for 7 there. He's still quite insulated.
The difference now is that he's going to have to play something else to board, needing another Dawn into the turn to be able to swap here.
Right. And losing the Zoro here is pretty impactful, too, because he could have just tapped 5 to pick up a character and put the law back, or put the Zoro back into play. So now he's not going to have that maneuverability with the Zoro.
Okay, Shirahoshi here to fix up the hand a little bit. So you drew at least 1 10-drop, 2 10-drops.
2 10-drops and a Parasparrow, so we were definitely looking for counter power off of that and found 0, so we're going to be a little bit pressed here if he starts getting aggressive.
Okay, Makino coming in, and you can make 1 big Otama here if you'd like.
Basically, none of our cards counter at the moment, which is kind of awkward.
That's not great.
No, we don't have any blockers either, so if he's able to fend off our next turn of attacks, we are in trouble, actually. So definitely feeling the regret of not Katakuri on the blocker wall last turn. That was a huge punt, I believe. So
I like that play, I think, a bit better, but I understand.
Yeah,
what you were going for there.
Well, the overall thought process was, hey, I can stack the Thunderbolt on top. I can probably clear the Zoro, and I can establish an Opera, which is only 2k less powerful than the Katakuri. Unfortunately, it just overall feels definitely weaker.
Yeah.
To have left him with the blocker law there. So,
but you did flip Brûlé off the last life, which is a little saving here. So,
bit of a saving grace here for sure. Luffy coming across, swinging here.
So yeah, Luffy the last card in hand, and he decided to go for that line of the win instead of trying anything else, and that makes sense.
Swing for 8, and we go up to 9, and that is a concession from Alex, as we are going to be able to win on the following push. So
let's go back to the booth.
If my mouse comes back, there we go. So yeah, I mean, it ended up being a pretty tight game. That can happen with yellow, is that you just run out of counter power and you look kind of silly when your opponent starts out the roughest start they could possibly have.
A little bit, yeah.
And then just every attack seems to like connect. It's a little bit little awkward there, but
it was nice being able to see you had 3 life triggers in a row. Obviously, you didn't stack all of them, but having those also just is quite nice with this deck that you're trying to maximize on those triggers. Yeah,
for sure. And I actually did know about the Brûlé earlier in the game. The Rush Katakuri put it on the bottom.
Oh, true. Yeah, it did.
So that is a bit more life manipulation there as well. So we did have that, also. So
okay. Well, very nice then.
All right, guys, that's the end of this video. If you enjoyed watching along with us, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel. And if you're out there and you enjoy watching One Piece games for many, many hours at a time, the boys and I do a lot of live streaming, play a lot of games on camera. Please consider subscribing to the channel so that you get those go live notifications straight to your phone. And we will see you in the next one.
Yeah,
that's it for us tonight.
See you.
Good night.